It's time for Fantasy Football Semi-Pros. Let's do it. You want to be on TV? Come on.
Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football Semi-Pros. I'm Brandon. With me is Odin and Ryan.
Hi, buddy. Say hi, everybody.
Odin's being extra affectionate right now.
They got really muddy. My two dogs got really muddy out in the yard today because it's been raining. They decided we're just going to be pigs and slosh around in the mud. And so we had to give them baths before we started this show. Oh, man, it's been a day.
It sounds like it. Well, anyways,
Let's get to that.
let's get to it.
Let's get to the. Are we going to do the pick'ems too? The pick'ems
Oh,
and the,
so we'll
and the
review-
DraftKings DFS?
No, that's Wednesday.
Wednesday this week, yes. that's correct.
But we will start with Devon versus the Coin, where Devon is currently beating the Coin. She's 8-4 this week, and the Coin is 4-8. And so Devon,
Overall,
I think she's guaranteed herself a win because I'm guaranteed there's at least one game that they pick the same.
maybe. There's 4 games left, I don't know who she took besides the Raiders and between the Raiders and Browns. I don't know.
I don't know. I can't remember. I can barely remember my own picks anymore.
But we'll see. Yeah, I don't.
But that being said, it's time for Devon versus
The
the
coin.
Coin.
Up to the mic.
Sorry. My bad. Oh, why do you have this?
I don't know, babe. So,
Wait, what week is it?
15.
16.
16.
Hmm.
We're going to be doing 16 picks. So,
Right?
to kick us off on, she's done zero research. Zero research this week. It's been pretty busy in this house with birthday parties and family gatherings for Christmas and yada, yada, yada. And we're sorry we're
So much
filming.
fun.
We're sorry we're filming during one of the games right now. It just kind of is with the couldn't really prepare for that with short notice. So we're doing the best we can, and we're going to start off Devon versus the Coin on Thursday. San Francisco travels to Tennessee to take on the Titans.
Titans?
49ers are favored by 3.5.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to stick with the Titans.
Titans it is. The Coin said San Francisco.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Again, Christmas Day, we're going to have 2 games on Christmas. Okay?
Why?
Because people
But why?
because people love football and so does
Not on
Jesus.
Christmas.
Jesus loves football.
You know, Wednesday's the only day this week that we don't have football.
Yeah, because there's football tomorrow night to round out week 15.
It never ends.
I won't be watching tomorrow
There's
night.
always
I will
football
be.
somewhere.
I can't. We have a friends get together thingy. Anyway, Saturday, Browns at Packers. Hey, hey! Knock it off.
Odin,
Not right now. He didn't start it. Sky did. Browns at Packers. Packers favored by 7.5.
Packers. Always.
Okay, that the Coin took the Packers as well. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Cardinals are favored by 1, but the Cardinals just got their butts beat by the Detroit Lions.
Which was a fluke, I'm thinking.
I don't think so.
You
Arizona.
think the Cardinals are just terrible now?
I feel like
and I should pick the Colts?
I feel like the Cardinals have looked great at times and then just absolutely awful at times, but I haven't seen them look good-ish.
I'm gonna
They're
stick-
either great or bad. There's no in between.
Well, maybe next week they'll be great.
Okay, so who are you taking?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
Okay.
Seems safer.
The Coin said Indianapolis. And I'm saying it right now, I will be taking Indianapolis as well. I think it'll be the first time this year I don't pick the Cardinals. Same. Anyway, Sunday. They're kicking off the early slate of games. We got Lions traveling to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Falcons are favored by 4.5.
The Lions did apparently really well last week, though.
They did.
Their starting quarterback did just test positive for COVID.
Oh, I'm going to go
Wow.
with the Falcons.
I did not know that. Okay.
Falcons it is.
Coin also said Atlanta, the ATL. Next up, Ravens travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals are favored by 2.5. We don't know.
Bengals.
We don't know if they'll have Lamar Jackson back or not. But the coin
Lord,
says
Bengals.
Baltimore. Next up, Rams favored by 3, traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings.
I'm going to go with the Rams.
It's gonna be a pretty short week for them because they're playing tomorrow night and they got to play again on Sunday. What?
I mean,
Huh.
just as short for the Browns. Browns play tonight and play again on Saturday.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very short week. Anyway, who'd you take?
I went with the Rams.
So did the coin. Bills at Patriots. Patriots favored by 1.5.
Bills.
Interesting. The coin also said the Bills. The coin also said Buffalo. Next up, this will be a good game. The Jaguars taking on the New York Jets.
I
Jets
have
are favored by 1.5.
no idea. I guess I'll go Jets.
That's who
Home
the
advantage.
coin said Jets too. Okay, Giants at Eagles. The Giants have lost their starting quarterback for the rest of the season.
Eagles.
They are favored by 10.5, but the coin said the Giants. Okay, Buccaneers travel to Carolina and take on the Panthers. Buccaneers are favored by 11.
Tom Brady.
The coin disagrees with you, and the coin says Carolina's going to win that game. Maybe, who knows? That's why you play them any given Sunday. Next up, Chargers, 10.5 point favorites, traveling to Houston to take on the Texans.
Chargers.
Okay. The coin says Houston.
The helmet for good luck.
It's either going to be you're going to get crushed by it or...
We're picking very
Dog
different.
races
so.
at halftime in the game.
Nice. Dog races during the Browns game. Okay, Bears Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 7.
Seahawks.
Okay, coin says Chicago Bears. Steelers at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs are favored by 10.5. The coin says Pittsburgh. I'm making a bet, a $1 parlay bet on the coin this week.
Because
You would
if
win.
You won.
You would win so much
get
money.
So much money, yeah.
Next up, Broncos at Raiders. Raiders favored by 1.
Raiders.
Coin says Denver. I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater will
That's
be
a coin.
through.
I've only picked the
Locke's
same
been
twice.
named the starter.
Has he already been named the starter? Makes
You might
sense.
want to repeat that because it's hard to hear me.
Drew Lock will be starting for the Denver Broncos this coming Sunday, Week 16. Correct? Got it. Next up, 2 games left. Washington football team traveled to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 10.5.
Cowboys.
Okay. The coins also said the Cowboys. And then Monday night, we get, what a weird Monday night game. Dolphins at Saints. Saints are favored by 3.
Saints.
The coin also said New Orleans. Okay, that's all we got.
Alrighty. Gracias.
Okay, bye, baby. Bye. Sky, come here. Sky, come here.
I'm comfy now.
She's in her spot. She's in her dark cave hole thingy. Hey, what we got next there?
Well, before we get to that, I do just want
Oh.
to say right now, the overall records, Devon is 134 and 85, and the coin is 109 and 110. Maintaining about that 50%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's crazy.
That is.
That's wild, man.
All right, so next we got the segment that Ryan named.
Brandon's best bets, especially for your playoffs. Gabe Davis, man, I see you have him on your list.
Yep,
I know he's
he-
second.
Gabe
but
Davis is one of the ones I have on my list. Gabe Davis, he had 2 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah, that's
he
like
was the leading
4
pass
touchdowns in the
catcher.
last 3 weeks, I think it is.
Now, Grant, one of those kind of came in at
Garbage.
the very end of the game when they had no business throwing the ball.
Wow.
But he's been producing as of late.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks, I think he has a touchdown, at least one touchdown in each of the games.
I added on here Craig Reynolds, who has now been signed to the Lions roster.
I mean, that dude, he's tore it up the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's played well, and if Jamal Williams is out, he's probably another good bet to play and play well.
Yeah, that's true.
I also have on here Amon-Ra St. Brown. The last 3 weeks, he's had 12 targets, and 11 targets.
Yeah, and he had I think a touchdown or 2 yesterday, and he really helped me in a league that it doesn't matter if I win. I'm in the losers bracket anyway. So, but if I do win, I do get my money back. If I win the losers bracket.
Yep. Yeah, and it looks like you're gonna beat me this week, which is fine.
No idea how. I saw you had 48 points scored, and you still have.
I think I missed somebody in that league and forgot to put somebody in. Plus, I had Waddle out because of COVID.
Your entire roster is full.
No. I forgot to put somebody in that I wanted to put in.
Oh, gotcha.
And then Waddle was out with COVID, and yeah, it was. Honestly, this week, if you lost, there's a good chance you had a good roster.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know this isn't the first time this year that we've said it.
Yeah, if you know anything, there was a couple weeks early on in the season. If you knew anything about football, you probably lost. If you knew anything about fantasy football, you probably lost. But then you have on here a couple other honorable mentions.
Yeah, so with the big news of injuries coming out,
especially out of Tampa Bay. Man.
I have on here Brashad Perriman, Tyler Johnson, and this last one, he's like 70% rostered in Sleeper, but Antonio Brown. So, and there's a chance he could be out there, and they said they are bringing him back. Now, with him, you got to beware. He hasn't played in a while.
Yeah, like 8 weeks or something like
and we don't know for sure if he's healthy or not. So, you got to keep an eye on that and see what's going on there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But Johnson, he played well last night once everybody was out. Perriman's supposed to be back, and he's played well in Tampa Bay before. Now, granted, that was with Winston, but...
well, Winston makes everybody look good. Say he threw the ball so much.
Both sides.
Turn it off. So much. Yeah.
And as for streamers, this was a rough one. And odds are, if you're in the playoffs, hopefully you set yourself up and you've already grabbed quarterbacks. But the only one I really have on here is Taysom Hill versus Miami.
Okay.
He didn't have a good game last night, but that's because nobody scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that was weird.
But
Alvin Kamara got me a whopping 5 points.
Yeah, and then also to top that off, Tampa Bay is a really good run defense.
Yeah.
So that takes away part of Taysom Hill's game. And then, of course, also you kind of just want to run out the clock on the offense, so Tom Brady touches the ball as little as possible.
Yeah, he'll somehow figure out how to get 10 plays in one drive or 10 points in one drive.
I think against Miami, he's a good play.
Yeah, certainly.
And
Miami's easy to run on.
Defensively, especially with Daniel Jones being announced out for the year, Giants threw 4 interceptions this week.
Matt Glennon.
So the Eagles are a sneaky, quiet play that a lot of people are going to overlook.
That's true. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of threats here on this Giants offense.
They might start playing Jake Fromm to see what they have with him instead of Mike Glennon. Because why not?
Why not? You're out of the playoffs. I don't know if they've been deemed eliminated from contention or not, but you know you're pretty much out. So.
Yep. So we'll go ahead and jump into our Week 15 recap now. But before we do that, it's time for the Week 15 recap.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with a Thursday night game, which this game, I wish these two could play each other every week.
Yeah, it's fun. That's
the
fun.
Chargers I think they just make games fun.
Yeah, because they can put up a lot of points.
And the other team has to do the same thing.
Yep.
But the Chiefs beat the Chargers 34-28. And Travis Kelce was finally back to Travis Kelce.
10 receptions, 191 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Did you know, though, after this is the first time since week 5 that the Chiefs were the favorites to win the Super Bowl, betting favorites.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they picked it up. I think they're on an 8 or 9 game win streak right now.
Yeah,
Something
their
weird like
defense
that.
is looking damn good.
Yeah.
The offense,
Not too shabby.
they've looked decent last 2 weeks. But, yeah, running back-wise, they didn't do a whole lot. But they didn't have to.
No.
And I said it. It's like, of course, the week that I have a bye, Mahomes finally goes off. I have Andrews going nuts.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I'm already in the semifinals in that league.
Hopefully they can keep it going for you.
Something to keep an eye on, though, is Austin Eckler. He had lesser of a workload last week. And he's already, I think he missed practice today.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jackson and Joshua Kelly are starting to get more touches, so it might hurt his value a little bit.
Now, I will say, if he's out, one of these guys is not going to return value. It's going to be a committee.
Right.
Other than that, though, I mean, Keenan Allen, he went off. 6 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, he did the thing.
And, I mean, we had another decent sighting from Mike Williams. And, unfortunately, we saw Parham get hurt.
Yeah, that
But
was awful.
Good news, he's out of the hospital. They're saying he's doing fine. I think he's just in concussion protocol at this point.
Sorry, my dog is basically a bear.
All right, so we'll jump to the Saturday game because
There were supposed to be 2, but one was canceled. Well, pushed back.
which I think this happened Thanksgiving last year.
Possibly.
That moon almost looks like a ball of cheese.
Jesus, coach.
I woke up feeling the cheesiest. I love that commercial.
Cheez-Its, if you guys don't know.
Not a sponsor.
Not yet.
But the Patriots and the Colts, this actually ended up being a good game overall.
Yeah, and I think I started off hot in the pick'em. I really did. I thought I was gonna. Even when the Steelers were down, I was like, "Nah, that's cool. There's plenty of time." There early on in the Cardinals game, I was like, "Yeah, there's time." And then all my teams ended up coming back and winning. I think I'm.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah, I missed 3 games so far this week, but this was not one of them. I got this right, and you kind of looked at me like I was crazy.
No, I knew this is entirely a possibility. The Colts have been playing good ball as of late.
Yeah, I mean, Mac Jones wasn't as efficient as he normally is, but I mean, that defense, that Colts defense can get pressure on QBs and make you work for every single yard. So,
yeah, Ramondre Stevenson, he was not effective without Damian Harris there.
Hope.
And then Hunter Henry, though, man,
yeah,
this was an uncharacteristic game for him.
25 points.
Well, not only that, he had multiple catches.
Over 20 yards receiving, and
usually he has like a catch or 2 and
5 yards
touchdown.
and a touchdown. Yeah.
Sorry,
What are you doing?
Might be having some technical difficulties.
Can you not hear us?
It stopped playing.
Oh. Mac 10.
All right, I think we're good. All right.
Okay.
Excuse me. Well, anyway, so other than that, Jacoby Meyer, he had 6 catches for 44 yards, but I'm still not banking on any of these pass catchers right now.
I mean, Aguilar had a good day too.
Yeah, I mean, so did Kendrick Bourne.
Sure.
And then N'Keal Harry. I think this is the first time I've actually put him on the stat sheet.
2 for 52. I remember going out and getting him thinking he might do something when he came off of IR or whatever it was. His suspension was over or something. That didn't work.
Carson Wentz, he only threw the ball 12 times.
Terrible passer rating.
Yeah. And like at one point, they went away from Jonathan Taylor. And Carson Wentz did not look good during those passes.
No.
But
No.
that being said, I'm not against starting him in the future. The Patriots defense is really good. But Jonathan Taylor, he almost put up his lowest stat line here, his lowest fantasy points of the year.
And he still had 170
Until he broke
yards.
that long rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, 62-yarder, I think it was.
Something like that.
68-yarder.
I remember he broke that and you said, well, maybe he's finally going to reach 100 yards. I was like, dude, he already reached that about a quarter ago.
I was like sidetracked and distracted playing Call of Duty and saw that long run. I was like, well, maybe he'd be over 100 yards. And Bart was like, yeah, he's been past that for a while. Well, yeah, he was. He was already at about a 130 no matter what. So.
Yep. And then the receivers, no one to note here. Michael Pittman Jr., though, he left this game early because he was ejected for getting in a fight.
Which I thought that was a little iffy.
But in 9 of the 10 routes that he ran, he was shadowed by J.C. Jackson. So it looked like he was going to have a rough day as it was.
Yeah, I mean, 1.7 points here. Not good for you.
All right, the next game, we had the Panthers at the Bills. The Bills won this one 31-13. And I like the Bills jerseys, the all-red jerseys.
That's okay.
But Cam Newton was actually one of the better fantasy quarterbacks on the day.
It's the rushing yards, man.
The rushing yards and touchdown with it.
Yep.
Thing is, Amir Abdullah was a running back that you wanted on this team.
Just because of the receptions.
Just because of the receptions and the touchdown. I'm not sure I'm trusting either of these running backs moving forward.
Absolutely not.
But the good news, DJ Moore, he kind of had a bounce back game, 6 for 48.
It's not terrible, but in the right direction.
The funny thing with this game, they had to hold tryouts for kickers during warm-ups.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. Zane Gonzalez got hurt.
Holy shit.
Early on, and they had P.J. Walker, among others, trying out for kickers.
Oh.
And news came out, I think that they said they were originally going to use P.J. Walker for PATs because he used to kick in high school. They showed a video, and it did not look good. The video of seeing them try out all the different players at kickers, it was bad. It looked like everybody's kicking an onside kick.
Man, kicking a football is not easy, man. I can't do it.
And then Josh Allen, I mean, he's back to elite
Producer.
Josh Allen.
Singletary actually looked good today, too.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday.
Sorry.
And the thing is, the Bills have come out and said, we're okay with Singletary as our number one running back. They actually gave him 22 carries, which has been a change from what they've been doing.
Yeah.
And then Dawson Knox, 4 for 38.
Not a great day.
Gabe Davis, though, 5 for 82 and 2 touchdowns, led the way. Diggs, he salvaged your day with a touchdown, but overall, he didn't look good. But he is also shadowed quite a bit by Gilmore.
Right.
So better days, I think, are ahead for Diggs still.
Stephon Gilmore.
Our next game, we had the Jets at the Dolphins. And unfortunately, the Dolphins, they were missing.
Then he waddled away, waddle, till the very next day.
Yep, they were missing Jalen Waddle, which killed me in about 3 or 4 different leagues. But that's fine. Thing is, the Jets actually looked competent for most of this game.
No. For most of it.
They had a lead for most of this game. Wilson, he saves your day again with another rushing touchdown, but he only has 170 yards rushing. Or passing, sorry. Michael Carter, though.
Didn't do well.
He had 8 rushes for 18 yards.
1 reception for 2 yards. Yeah, it was not a good day.
You know, Carter's I heard it said like this. Carter is right now that Wolverine gif with a picture of Mike White. Because when Mike White was quarterback,
he did really
he
well.
was getting catches.
Yes.
Zach Wilson does not do that.
No.
So I think Carter's not. I think as Wilson matures, because Wilson does run the ball quite a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
As Wilson matures, he might start dumping it off. I think Michael Carter is better for the future.
Right.
As for the pass catchers,
not
not much to talk here.
No. There's only 13 receptions to go around, so.
Tua's been very, very good as of late. I think they're on what, a 7-game win streak now.
I'm not entirely sure.
But the big story here is Duke Johnson came off the practice squad,
Yeah, what the
22
hell
for
is that?
107, 2 touchdowns, and they rewarded him by signing him to the active roster. Now, Myles Gaskin, he did come off the IR list on Saturday,
Yeah,
so they're probably kind of easing him back in. But Devontae Parker stepped up in
16
Waddle's
points.
absence.
Yeah, 4 receptions, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Too bad Gesicki couldn't have gotten that touchdown. Not that I needed it,
Gesicki
but-
he got 5 receptions for 43 yards, so he was still being targeted quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, our next game. This game, Detroit came out and punched Arizona in the mouth.
They didn't do that. They kicked them in the gonads. Excuse my
Can we
language.
say that they bit their kneecaps?
They Dan Campbell's Lions bit the Cardinals' kneecaps.
You know, with this win though,
They
the
no
Lions
longer have the first.
the Lions
overall
moved
pick
from the first overall pick
to the 4th.
to the 3rd.
Oh, 3rd. I thought it was the 4th.
Yep.
The Jags will have back-to-back first-round pick or first overall picks.
They could. Kyler Murray, he didn't look bad as a passer, but he didn't run all that much.
The very first play from scrimmage, they tried a read option, and he got tackled for no gain. And I was like, why would you open the game with that? That didn't make any sense. I just think Cliff Kingsbury and that entire coaching staff was just confused. They were that team was outcoached.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And then we saw the return of Chase Evans. Ooh. Derek Carr is hurt, was injured on the sack fumble recovered by the Browns. That does not bode well for me in a playoff league.
Sorry, man.
I'll live. But Chase Evans' return, it was back to like a true split.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the people who are enjoying the
James Conner show.
Yep. But Christian Kirk, he really defended this game.
Which is funny because I told my wife I earlier last week, I said, you know what, Christian Kirk, Arizona's without DeAndre Hopkins right now. Christian Kirk could be a solid play, especially if you don't have Thielen this week. And she went out and got him and played him. she's still protected.
And then
to lose,
Zach
but-
Ertz, 6 for 74, and he was so close to having a touchdown in that first half.
I wish he would have. I wish that game would have turned out differently.
And then as for Goff went 21 of 26 for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well,
Goff was
when you
having
don't
his
come off
way.
of your first primary read and you get the ball out quick, that's usually what happens.
Fair, but I mean, that's still overall, that's a good day.
Yeah, not bad.
And he was one I kind of considered saying, like, desperation streamer
Sure.
for this week because I can't remember who they're playing, but it wasn't a bad matchup for them.
Detroit? Who they're playing
And
this
then-
week?
Yeah.
Falcons. They're playing
Yeah.
the Falcons.
So, yeah, that's definitely not a bad matchup. And we talked about it. Craig Reynolds, 26 for 112 yards.
Choo.
Um,
No touchdowns, though.
Yeah, Jamar Jefferson, he had 5 rushes for 9 yards, but Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. And even Reynolds, he's starting to get that connection back with Goff from when they played together in Los Angeles.
And I think in our keeper league I went and picked him up, or maybe it was our dynasty league. Because I thought, hey, he played with Goff over there. He might be. This Lions team is hurting, especially with Hawkinson gone for the season. It might be their show now.
All right, so we'll move on to the Cowboys. Cowboys beat the Giants 21-6.
Did you watch any of this game? Because I was only able to watch about the first quarter of the first game, or the early games yesterday, and this game was boring to watch for some reason.
I tried to watch a little bit. It was usually only when the Giants had the ball because I was kind
Yeah.
of focused on Saquon there. But apparently, the offense and the defense, they have a competition going. And it just started this week. It's the offense, can they score more touchdowns than the number of takeaways the defense has? And right now, the defense is winning. I think it's 4-2.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. This offense, it's taken a downside ever since Dak's come back from his calf injury.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
But Tony Pollard, he looked good.
I mean, the
Coming off his
Cowboys
injury.
are still winning games. I think they're 10-4 now.
9-4, I think.
But this is week
Yep,
15,
you're right.
so there would have to be.
That sounds right, 10-4. But Zeke, he constantly he falls in the end zone at least once a game, it feels. So he kind of salvages your day, but he's not a league winner right now.
No, he's not as dominant as he was.
And then Dalton Schultz showed up for this game, but the notable guy missing on here, Amari Cooper.
Yeah, he really killed
2
me.
receptions for 8 yards.
Yeah, that's great if you're playing against him.
Oh, sorry, I was wrong earlier. The Giants only threw 3 interceptions.
Oh, sorry. They may have but Barkley lost a fumble.
Yeah, Barkley did lose a fumble, and Booker, Barkley's starting to look better, but it just seems like Booker's getting the holes open for him.
Yeah, I think it's because he might be a little bit healthier, so he's able to get there just a split second sooner. Who knows?
Unfortunately, though, some bad news came out of this game. Sterling Shepard, he tore his Achilles.
Oh, God. Ow.
So he's likely done for the year. But as we're seeing now, torn Achilles isn't a death sentence for players.
Yeah, not like it was early 2000s.
I mean, Deontay Foreman, he's showing out with Tennessee, and he tore his Achilles a few years back. Cam Akers, he could be back this year for the playoffs.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So we'll go ahead and move on. Titans at the Steelers. This game, I watched a little bit of it.
Didn't watch any of it.
Titans were ahead, I think 13-0 at one point.
Yes, they were.
Turned off the game. Turn it back on just briefly.
13-13?
Yes, 13-13. But nothing was going on still, so I turned it off. Turned it back. Steelers are ahead. And the thing is, they did this without Najee Harris producing.
Yeah, I see that.
Now, I think at one point, Najee Harris had a touchdown called back. That replay, it did not look like it should have been called back.
Yeah, I saw a lot of weird calls yesterday. I mean, I was streaming from my phone to a TV, so the connection wasn't there. The picture wasn't all that great, but I was like, man, just watching the Bengals game, that is. I was like, man, some of these calls are very questionable.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking or why that was called.
Now, Deontay Foreman, he had 22 rushes for 108 yards. He couldn't find the end zone to make the day worthwhile.
Yeah.
And some news with this one, Julio Jones left this game with a hamstring injury.
Dude's always hurt. I think he just needs to retire.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but it a lot of times it is a hamstring injury. It's a soft tissue injuries for him. And
it's just time to hang up.
When I saw that he left this game with a hamstring injury, my first thought is his career over?
I think so.
Thing is, him and AJ Green came out in the same class.
Yeah.
But the good news for the Titans, AJ Brown's been designated for a return.
Okay, that'll help their offense a lot, though.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, Pat Freiermuth, he left this game early with a concussion. But Deontay Johnson didn't have the game that he's been having. And then Claypool. Ready for this stat line?
I'm listening.
Claypool had 0 catches for 12 yards and 1 rush for 7 yards.
Wait, how do you have a reception for 12 yards?
So I had to do some research, and it was exactly what I thought it was.
Okay.
So somebody else caught a pass and then lateraled it back to Claypool.
That's what I was. Okay.
Basically what happens, you don't get the catch,
but you get the
but you get any yards from the lateral.
Okay. So the person that tosses it gets the catch plus the yards up to where they lateral the ball.
Here we go.
Right?
I'm trying to get. I put it in here just so I can kind of surprise you with it. So, let's just say the receiver of a lateral is given credit for the yardage he gains from the point he receives the lateral. But he is not given an attempt, a return, or a reception on the play. So the person who receives the lateral.
Okay.
Now, for example, a forward pass is completed to a receiver, advances 40 yards. So the receiver gets 40 yards on the initial catch.
Right.
He then laterals to a teammate who advances the ball an additional 20 yards. So basically what that's saying is the person who caught the ball gets the catch
plus 40
and
yards.
40 yards. the person who got the lateral and advanced it just gets 20 yards receiving.
That's so weird.
Yep. But I know that question is something that's been asked multiple times. How do these get handled? And now I finally got an answer because I actually went out and looked at it because it happened. All right, so we'll move on to the next game. Texans at Jaguars. Houston won this 30-16.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Jaguars didn't look much better without Urban Meyer.
No, I didn't think they would.
Now, the good news is
James Robinson looked good.
James Robinson did. I heard a joke that I think Urban Meyer was in a wig in one of the end zones because he wanted to see Jacksonville score.
Oh, yeah.
But Davis Mills, he's not looking bad, and he's another one I consider, like, just saying, hey, he's a desperation.
I played him this week in my Superflex league, even though I'm out of the playoffs. But, yeah, he put up 29 points.
Thing is, though, he might be the quarterback next year for them.
Okay.
I mean, the early picks, now I will say, like, Mel Kiper, he doesn't have anybody projected to pick a quarterback until, like, pick 12.
Yeah.
And then I think he has, like, a run of 5 quarterbacks in the next so many picks.
Mm-hmm.
But they could go defense early.
They should.
And maybe take, like, a late round QB, which, I mean, Mills was one of those mid-round QBs, and he doesn't look bad.
No, he doesn't look awful, but he
doesn't look like a Dak Prescott or somebody like that who was taken mid to late rounds.
He'll be a good placeholder until somebody
Placeholder / I think career backup.
Yeah.
But Brandon Cooks, man, 7-102-2.
Yeah, man, I'm glad I played him. If I would have played him last week, I may have went 2-0 and made the playoffs in our league, but who knows.
And then the leading pass catcher for the Jaguars,
Treadwell.
O'Shaughnessy.
Oh, in yardage, yes.
4 for 60. Trevor Lawrence right now really likes his tight ends.
Well, he's got to have somebody.
I mean, a lot of time I think it's because he just has to get it out quick. All right, our next game, the Bengals at the Broncos. And this game was pretty boring.
Yes.
Until about halfway through the third quarter. Well, pretty much until Teddy Bridgewater got hurt.
Unfortunately.
Now, the good news, Teddy Bridgewater is out of the hospital. And they're saying he's okay. He's in concussion protocol. They've named Drew Lock the starter for next week already. But Burrow, 15-22, 157 and a touchdown. But he was a better NFL player.
On this, yeah. I mean, he didn't help your fantasy team very much, if at all.
And unfortunately, Mixon, he didn't look great either. And then late in the game, he tweaked his ankle. Now, he was back in for the kneel down. And I think they said that he is limited. Yeah, he will be limited with an ankle injury, but there's a chance he could play.
Huh. Interesting.
So that is some good news. In the case that he can't go, though, Samaje Perine, he's been a solid backup.
Yeah, he looks good when he gets his touches. So,
and then the wide receiver that you weren't starting for the Bengals, Tyler Boyd, is the one guy who had anything decent. He had a 56-yard touchdown catch that made the day.
Yep, that was it.
Pretty
pretty rough day on both sides of the ball here.
But I will say, Javonte Williams, there was one play. They were backed up at like their 3. Yeah. He gets hit at their 1-yard line.
And somehow
still
keeps
gets
his
16
feet.
yards on that play.
Yeah, I remember watching that play.
This guy.
Some of the people that were at this birthday party with us, he's like, man, that guy's good. And I was like, yeah, he's just a rookie too.
This guy, like, he breaks at least 3 tackles in one play each game.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty tough.
But
good center of gravity. Good.
It's still between him and Gordon. It's a true split, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, but they both look pretty solid when they.
Something I noticed when Drew Lock came in, he kind of targeted both his tight ends and Tim Patrick quite a bit more.
Yep.
So something to keep an eye on. I'm not sure that I'm trusting any pass catcher here, but if I am, I'd take a dart throw on a tight end or possibly Tim Patrick in a deep league.
Yeah. For sure, but I think Jerry Jeudy is just stashed on your bench for now.
I do think better days are ahead, though, for these Bengals pass catchers because Denver's a really good defense.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. I mean, that game was what, 15-10 score?
Yep.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns scored, and they were both in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
It was funny, like the announcers were talking like the Bengals are they haven't won a game under Zach Taylor when they've been trailing at the end of three quarters, and that was with like a minute left in the third quarter, and the Bengals promptly score that next play to take the lead again. So the next game we have is the Falcons at the 49ers. Honestly, I didn't watch a lot of this game because I was focused a lot on the Bengals game.
yeah, like I said, I
But-
didn't have any for these last 3 games. The only one I could really watch was the Bengals because I could watch it on CBS. So.
Cordero Patterson, he's kind of dropping off as of late.
Yeah,
But the
That's
good
true.
news, Russell Gage, the 8 for 91 and a touchdown.
I could have
And
used
then-
that last week.
And then
Butt
Kyle
head.
Pitts. There was one catch I just remember. I looked, I was like, holy cow, how did he make that catch?
He's a good tight end, man.
Yep. 4 for 77. Better days are ahead. I think there's just that learning curve as a tight end, even though he splits out more.
Yeah,
As for the 49ers, Garoppolo, he's looking good.
yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Elijah Mitchell's not going to play the rest of this year. So Jeff Wilson could be a solid staple in your lineup.
See, I'm okay with that because Jeff Wilson scored me 20 points in the Dynasty League. Not that, again, I'm not in the playoffs or anything,
But
but
you're playing for pride.
yeah, you still want to win the games. And
And this is something we talked
lineups.
about. You want to continue playing even when you're out, just
Finish
so you can
strong.
keep an eye, because
Finish
somebody
strong.
could break out the end of the year, and you have no idea come the start of next year.
Right. Finish strong.
And then Kittle doing Kittle things, Deebo Samuel. Unfortunately, though, Ayuk,
Didn't really do much for me, but
one
think-
reception for 36 yards.
I think better days are ahead.
Honestly, though, this team, they're looking good.
This 49ers team's tough, man. I'm telling you what. They're a tougher crowd than we thought they were early on this season.
They aren't who we thought they were.
I mean, ever since they lost to the Indianapolis Colts there on that rainy night, they've been on a tear since
Yeah.
then.
And then we had the Packers at the Ravens. Packers won this one 31-30.
Go, Pack,
And-
go.
Rodgers is making that argument to be the MVP, especially after the game Brady had last night,
Yeah, for sure.
which I'm fine with because I put a bet on Rodgers to win the MVP this year. And then Aaron Jones cashed in with a touchdown, but other than that,
Hey,
He's
Aiden, I would say KJ Osborne because Adam Thielen's still out.
that's a tough one.
I would say Osborne. I played him a couple weeks ago. He
I
got
will
me
say
17
the Rams
points.
have a better defense though. And
Osborne is playing against Chicago,
oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. For some reason, I was thinking they were playing each other.
and the Rams are playing Seattle.
Yeah, this one's a tough one because Chicago's missing all their secondary.
I'm saying Osborne, man.
Yeah, I think Osborne's gonna have the better day, being the number 2, whereas
Odell,
Cooper
it's hit or
Kupp's the
miss.
number 1, 2,
and the
and
3.
3.
Yeah,
and then Van Jefferson and Beckham are kind of fighting for that next spot.
yeah. I'm saying KJ Osborne with Thielen out, but once Thielen's back, man, good luck.
But yeah, back to this Packers game. This backfield, it's more of a timeshare than it's been.
Yeah, I think I don't know what happened there, but Aaron Jones just ain't doing it, man.
AJ Dillon though, he looks good running that ball.
He only had 7 carries for 22 yards though.
He
He
did
got a
get a
touchdown.
touchdown out of it, and he had one nice catch for 13 yards.
Okay.
But Marcus Valdez-Scantling, 5 receptions, 98 yards, and a touchdown.
I think he was a dart though. You said in deeper leagues last week.
Not even deeper leagues. I would have been willing to start him in a 10-team league.
Really?
But did you hear what Devontae Adams said?
No.
He's like, that's respect. Going out there, lining up every play, and they have 2 guys on you. Basically, Baltimore said is Adams isn't beating us. They put 2 guys on him every play. And he still got 6 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, Adams does Adams things, man.
As for Baltimore, though, Huntley looked good in Lamar Jackson's absence.
Yeah, he looks solid. I mean, they both play very similar play styles, so
Yeah.
it's expected.
But the big news here is Murray and Freeman, it's back to a timeshare.
Mm-hmm.
With Murray kind of took the lead on this one. But I kind of like the backup quarterback being in.
Because it really helped Mike.
He hyper targets
Andrews. who's
Mark
tight end.
Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews, man. Woo, 10 receptions, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns, man. That guy killed it.
And, I mean, they target him on that failed 2-point conversion attempt to
Yep.
win the game.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Bateman, though, 1 reception for 5 yards. But Malcolm Brown, 10 receptions there.
Yeah, I see that. Hollywood.
All right,
For
so
only 43 yards. That sucks.
as for the Sunday night game, this one was a big barn burner here.
Yeah, you weren't writing home to mom about this one at
The
all.
Saints and Buccaneers played, and Tom Brady was shut out for the first time, I think it said, in 15 years.
Since 2005, I thought.
I can't remember.
2006.
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah.
This score ended up being 9-0 with 3 field goals kicked. Taysom Hill only threw the ball 27 times, but it only had 33 rush yards. But Kamara, 11 for 18, 2 receptions for 13 yards. This game, you can kind of just throw out those stats because this is a really good run defense. The interesting thing here, though, is Callaway. He had 6 receptions for 112 yards.
Yeah, finally the guy that I traded for.
And, I mean, I think the thing is, though, with Callaway, he has one more game without Harris.
Yeah, and then Harris takes over again.
As for Brady, did you see that he smashed one of the tablets on the sideline?
No.
Yeah. He smashed it and threw it, and the joke was that too was intercepted. But no, Brady,
good one.
26 of 48, 214 yards, and 1 interception.
I mean,
But
the entire
big-
support crew was gone.
I was going to
most
say
of
the big
game.
news here is Leonard Fournette left this game early with a hamstring injury. I haven't really seen an update for him other than, Brian, what did Bruce Arians say?
It's time for Ronald Jones to do what Leonard Fournette did last year in the playoffs.
Yep. It's time for Ronald Jones to step up, which Ronald Jones is a solid back. He just, for some reason, Brady doesn't seem to like him, and he doesn't always catch the ball well.
That's true.
Unfortunately,
Godwin left the game. Mike Evans left the game.
Godwin,
and
he
was
left this
all
game with a
early.
knee injury. Even though it looked like it was going to be a head or neck injury,
Yep.
unfortunately, Godwin is done for the year. He tore his ACL.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They said, I think they said regular season.
No, it's been a year now. It's a torn
okay.
ACL. He's done for the year. It originally came out that was an MCL injury, and that was at least the regular season. It came out later that was an ACL injury.
Gotcha.
And then Mike Evans, he left early with a hamstring injury, which he's had issues with in his career. And right now he's labeled as week to week. So that could give a big bump for Tyler Johnson, Rob Gronkowski, Scotty Miller, Rashad Perriman, Antonio Brown possibly.
Yeah.
Well,
That's it.
because there's 2 or 3 games moved.
Yeah, we're
that concludes our week 15 recap. So we will be back on Wednesday, so we won't have to worry about making our pick until then
right.
for the next game. Sorry to switch this up on you guys, but holiday season kind of messes that up. The week
Yeah.
after, we should be back to our regular schedule.
Yeah, the week after Christmas.
So anyways, enjoy the games. We're going to wrap this up so we can try to enjoy those as well.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like and share or subscribe on YouTube.
Yep. YouTube.
Anchor, Google Podcast, Spotify.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Deuces.